I now call the next speaker, Baroness Fox of Buckley.
Like many of the noble lords, it's a great relief to see this extension of the regulations. If once the main fear stalking society was a fear that of our loved ones catching COVID, for many people I know that's now equalled by a visceral terror of the blight of bailiffs and eviction notices, but still those eviction notices are on the horizon in the future, and I suppose my worry is that the regulations just kicks a bigger problem down the road. Already 9% of private renters have suffered job losses, and we know that that's just the tip of a looming unemployment iceberg. 33% have had a fall in income due to reduced hours and furlough itself, we know for many is just joblessness delayed. So how will these renters ever be able to pay arrears? And that, therefore, means we have to ask, what about the people they owe rent to? As has already been alluded to, the vast majority of landlords are not remotely massive property magnates. 45% are single individuals who have just invested their life savings or their redundancy money in just one property. For some, it's their main income. For others, they were future-proofing their life to supplement meagre pensions. And at this stage, they're suffering 20% rental losses, and they know that many rents won't be paid in full, if at all. And as the noble Baroness Neville Rolfe reminded us, they're unable to access business support packages because they own a property asset. And so now they face a debt crisis, and many are worried about defaulting on mortgages and their future homes. So the solutions. I'm sure, like many noble lords, we've all been lobbied by special interest groups. They want financial support to pay off COVID-related debt arrears, interest-free government-guaranteed hardship loans paid directly to the landlords. Certainly it would help both parties. I rather like the look of the proposals in the Reset the Debt report from a variety of churches. However, the real solution, it seems to me, is to put a stop to this impending and growing tragedy of increasing homelessness in the future by having a different approach to living with and managing COVID that avoids closing down society. When the government recently ordered a lockdown based on what's now known to be false data, they guaranteed more people will be homeless. The reward for complying with the lockdown was that many millions more were placed in tiers 2 and 3. And that had a devastating impact on the hospitality sector. And it's estimated that 30 to 40% of people made homeless this year are, guess what, former hospitality workers. Many hospitality workers' homes are linked to their jobs in hotels and pubs, and now they're forced onto the street. Many others who work in hospitality have precarious living arrangements that are not protected by the evictions ban. So, in other words, it's the government's choice of disproportionate and overly risk-averse policies in relation to COVID that are creating a long-term debt crisis and looming evictions. Absolutely unintended, no doubt, but I just urge my noble Baroness that the next time her colleagues mention lockdowns or tiers, that she reminds them that the cost for that are growing homelessness, evictions in the long term, and many more people on the streets, and in fear not of COVID, but of homelessness.